Once again, the Alabama Crimson Tide proved that they are indeed the kings of the SEC. Shocked a lot of people the way it went down. Not so much so that Alabama beat Georgia, but the fact that they were able to go out there and put up 41 on a team that was so dominant throughout this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will raise my hand on this. I'm one of these folks who have. I know my brother Tim G. Jacob loves to do cap no cap on teams, and I've been one of those guys who's been cap on Georgia. Like I put Georgia in that same boat with Notre Dame, like when they face off against SEC opponent, or Oklahoma when they face off against an SEC opponent. So I've been cap on Georgia whenever they face off against an SEC West opponent.
Right.
But this year, Georgia had me believing this year. They were just looking like they were just rolling over folks. But Nick Saban said, and he showed once again that his young boys can't do nothing with him. Ain't Kirby Smart one of his young boys as well?
Yeah, that's right.
That's how OG supposed to do the BGs. So all my BGs out there, y'all see how we do it. OG status, baby. But I want to get my brother's opinion on Alabama winning yet another SEC championship. Since Leo, I'll start with you.
Yeah, Georgia is still that team now. They just ran into Nicholas Saban, and the Crimson Tide, man. You know, I watched that game and I thought to myself very early on, it all is pending on how Alabama starts the game. Because Georgia had they still do, they have the top defense in the nation, right? In that first quarter, they put up just as many points as Georgia allows all game. So they jumped on those guys. And I think what happened for Georgia was that they were like, man, it's one thing for you to know that Alabama's going to come and punch you in the mouth, but to put up 17 points early on you like that, like that's a lot. That's a lot for Kirby Smart and for Todd Monk and our former head coach of Southern Miss to kind of sit and say, okay, how do we combat that? How do we come back at those guys? Georgia doesn't dominate you offensively with high scoring points. They just beat you into the ground with their physicality. So you can do that when you're ahead. But when you start getting down 2-3 scores, it's kind of hard for you to figure that out. They found their rhythm late in the second half, but it was too little too late, man. And I just look at it like this. To your point, Wells, when you have worked for Coach Saban, and then all of a sudden now you have to go up against your former employer, right? And you know how meticulous he is about everything. Sometimes, and a lot of times teams say, well, man, I would love to get another shot at them because now I know what to expect from them. Georgia does not want another shot at Alabama, and I'll put that on wax right now. Kirby Smart is hoping that Alabama loses in that first round of the college football playoff because if they advance and Georgia advances, that's another L. I'm calling that right now because Nick Saban just has these guys' numbers, and nobody, if you're going to give Nick Saban, besides old boy over in Clemson, if you give him weeks to prepare for you, you're not going to beat him. That's just the long and short of it. Georgia is a really good football team, but they ran up against Nick Saban, and he was ready for him. And more importantly, let me shout out Bryce Young because that young man balled, all right? 4 touchdowns, 400 yards of offense against the number 1 defense in the nation. I know we've been trying to figure out who's the Heisman Trophy winner because nobody has just taken that step. Bryce Young made a name for himself. If you didn't know him before, if you watched that game, you know who Bryce Young is now.
JoJo.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on what Shannon Sharp say, Saint Nick getting it done again?
Oh, man. So, last week I stated that Florida would beat Alabama.
That's what you said now. You were really feeling yourself in that segment. That's what you said.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
sure
crazy.
did.
I still believe it. Yeah. But Alabama, man.
Ooh, boy. Right.
They did. They came out and just showed the SEC still belongs to them. It still belongs to them. It's their conference. There are a lot of good teams in that conference, but it's their conference. I actually have Michigan winning it all.
I
actually have
I
Michigan
should
winning
let
it
you go
all.
last. I should let you go last. I'll come back to that.
But I'll
Go ahead.
say, talking about this game, Alabama and Georgia, I'm gonna keep it short. I feel like because the run game was basically non-existent for both teams. Came down to the quarterbacks, and that's what he said. Well, he said that Bryce Young balled. I like to say Bryce Young footed.
We've been trying to figure out that term, America. What you say with a football game, like when you see a great basketball game with two teams, mixing it up, you say, man, old guys out there hooping, right? They balling,
Right.
whatever it is. What do you say when two football teams are going at it? Joe, what do you say?
I say they footed. But yeah, man, that's what I got. Bryce Young won it, man. He won it.
See, that's your boy Saint Nick. Got another one.
I mean, what did you expect? That man is special. He's got staff that has watched Georgia all year long. That's their job. They get paid 6 figures to do that. That's their job. Your job is to watch them right there all year long. That's your job. You got nothing else to do. Bring Saban his cafe latte
See there.
and
See
watch
there?
tape on Georgia. That's your job. What other job would you want in America than that job? If you know X's and O's and you can buy Starbucks, what better job is it in the country?
Just silly.
That's your job. And that's what Saban do. That's what he's got to his disposal. Never was shocked by the result at all. Because Georgia just
So
ain't like
did
that.
you? So okay, you like me then in the past. So okay, did you believe in him this year?
No,
Okay,
I didn't believe in
I
Georgia.
did. I
didn't
did
believe in
believe in him
Georgia.
this year.
I didn't believe in Georgia because
I did too. That was on me.
because
Yeah.
offensively, I
should've
don't know
stuck
a
with what I always
name.
believed.
I don't know a name offensively. See, in the college game, they don't tell you about the defensive guys. Now, this year, they tell you about a young man named Aiden Hutchinson from Michigan, who Joe has just said is going to win it all.
We gonna come back to that.
Now, Aiden Hutchinson is special, but they're not going to give you that name. They're going to give you the names of Bryce Young, they gave me Kenneth Walker sometime during the year. They gave me other names. They floated other names out there. Kenny Pickett at Pittsburgh, guys like that. But when it comes to the hoodie, I go back to the luxuries that the hoodie has that no other coach in America has. He's got people paying attention while he's worried about the other folk. And so when it gets to this game right here, Saban's ready. And this is the thing that I'm more interested in. Because I got to thinking about it. I said, man, when the last time Alabama and Georgia ever just really squared? Like, they don't square up a lot. Like we get State Ole Miss, we get LSU Arkansas, we get what's the cocktail, the great cocktail party? Georgia, Florida. We get that every year. But we don't get Alabama, Georgia every year. Why is that?
Well, they East and West.
Okay, but we still get
State and Ole Miss are both in the West.
But we get
Georgia and Florida are both in the East.
But you would think. But my question is, what's the restriction as to why Bama and Georgia don't play during the regular season? Why do we get them?
Because if I'm Alabama, I know I'm finna go through hell in the West anyway.
It's just the way the schedule is built.
Alabama usually starts the year off with some kind of marquee opening game with like a non-SEC opponent or something like that. Like they'll whoop up on a Notre Dame or Oklahoma or something to begin the year.
So in the SEC, you have a fixed opponent from the opposite division, right? So for Mississippi State, they're going to play Kentucky every year. That's just the way it is. That's how they try to create that cross divisional rivalry. So that's just how it's built in. For Ole Miss is Vanderbilt. Like but then you're going to have a second. In this case, if you're Alabama, you're going to have a second SEC East opponent, and that's going to rotate every year. So Alabama plays Tennessee, and then it's going to be, you're going to play Georgia 1 year. It's going to be Tennessee, Georgia. It's going to be Tennessee, Florida. You see what I'm saying? Like, it has to play out that way. That's just the way that they built that system in the SEC, to give you one cross rival, and then you alternate the rest of them. So yeah, you're only going to see Alabama and Georgia play once every 6 years, once every 5 or 6 years, unless they play in the conference title game.
Well, I just think that's crazy.
That helps Georgia.
Oh, it absolutely helps Georgia.
That's crazy.
But they don't have to see them boys as much.
That's crazy. That's crazy. I really think it ought to rotate more than that. If you're sitting there and you're telling me that they've only played in the regular season in 08, 15, and 20, it's like, okay, I get it. I mean, you know, if that's the way y'all do it, that's the way y'all do it. But let the talent be shown. If Georgia gets blasted during the regular season, great.
That makes the SEC championship game more lit, though.
It's not going to affect.
That builds some anticipation.
Not this time.
See,
the anticipation was there. The performance wasn't.
No.
It feels, and honestly, it feels unfair right now, because you look at Georgia and say, well, Georgia didn't have anybody to play. Well, yeah, Florida's down this year. But, you know, you got to remember, if you go back a few years ago, Florida was the dominant team. Like back when Urban Meyer was there, it was the Florida Gators division. And then it was like, well, they don't play anybody. So it's, man, this is what happens when you play in the same conference as Alabama. If you take Alabama out, everybody's ecstatic because everybody has an opportunity to play for a championship. Right. But once you put Nicholas Saban, and like you said, T, his coaches, they do nothing but scout one team a year.
That's their job.
That's what happens. That's what happens. Right. My question is, if Nick can do it, then why can't Georgia do it? Why can't they have a system in place that's built that way to put a program together where you're scouting for one game, where you're prepping for one game back in August because you know that you got what it takes to be there in December? It's that important.
I agree.
Georgia think they are blue blood, but they not.
They
just do. Wait, come on, man. Georgia, I shouldn't have failed for it this year. Georgia thinks they one of these boys, and they not. Alabama is one of them boys going back to segregation. We know this. They got Bear Bryant. They got the former GOAT, who people thought Bear Bryant was the GOAT.
Yep.
And now they got the guy who most people think is the GOAT now. Like, Alabama's like that. You know what I'm saying? USC, blue blood. That's why it's so much fanfare with old boy going out there, because they thinking he can resurrect the thing. Notre Dame, Ohio State. Georgia ain't that. Georgia think they that.
So what we saying right now is the SEC is like the guiding light. They string us along year after year after year after year. They soap opera. The SEC is really a soap opera.
The SEC
at the end of the day, at the end of the day,
we do that down south.
Okay, so what's it going?
No, they're really good, but at the end of the day, you got Alabama, and every fourth year LSU is going to come and overtake.
Okay, who else in the fold?
So what we saying
is in the fold other than these two teams?
So what we saying is until Nick Saban rest in peace,
shut your mouth.
It's a wrap.
Who else is in the fold other than disregard that, America? Strike that jury. Strike that from the record.
Until he rests in peace.
Strike that from the record. Okay, who else is in the fold besides these two teams? Cincinnati
and Michigan. Yeah.
Okay.
Who Joe says?
Georgia. I would say Georgia would smash Cincinnati. Georgia would smash Michigan. I don't know what our brother JoJo up here talking about.
Georgia ain't gonna
he didn't believe in Harbaugh when he was his head coach.
Georgia ain't gonna be Michigan. Georgia ain't gonna be Michigan.
That man upset.
Georgia ain't gonna be Michigan.
Because these boys have been wild.
Georgia ain't gonna be Michigan. Georgia ain't gonna be
been wilding, but this like the third straight week that these
Georgia ain't gonna be Michigan.
On these airways and wild.
Georgia ain't gonna be Michigan.
When
Georgia
Michigan
won't be Michigan?
Go ahead. Michigan.
Get it on wax. Get it on wax.
Really, let's not act like Michigan ain't capped too now.
This Joe Thunder.
Let's not act like Michigan ain't capped.
Actually, don't put it on wax yet, because we got a long stretch of time before we get to the college football playoffs. Don't put it on wax yet.
We'll do a preview. Okay. We'll do a preview.
Start. But what you can start doing now is making your opening arguments. You can start sowing the seed to America, and maybe you can even influence people on this panel. Because right now, Ray Coleman sits as a guy that's just kind of sitting back thinking to himself, Man, can Michigan beat Georgia?
I'm
I'm
gonna tell y'all
leaning
this
Georgia.
right now, America. I don't believe in white supremacy, black supremacy, but I do believe in SEC supremacy. Okay, that's what we do down here.
Too much.
We play
I
football.
hate to say
Yeah.
it. Listen,
We play football down here.
Start it out, Joe.
you said we can make our case. I'm gonna say this. Harbaugh beat Ohio State.
Whoop de doo.
They hadn't beat Ohio State, and I don't know.
Well, that's a blue
how
blood now. You just said that's a blue
long.
blood.
They haven't beat, and not that.
Now when they run up
Dude,
against one of these
let-
South boys,
Let me take
they
that
get
back.
to work too.
Let me take that back because they didn't beat. They spanked them.
They did.
It wasn't even close.
They did that, Joe.
They just spanked Big
And
Ten.
everybody told us that Ohio State should handle Michigan. It should have been light work, is what they told us about that game.
Okay.
They said it was light work.
Somebody.
All I'm gonna say is
This all I'm gonna say.
When Michigan win, I'm gonna be insufferable on this show.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
telling y'all that
I'm not gonna say
now.
nothing. Wells, you got
I'm
to deal
telling
with
y'all that now.
Wells, you going to deal with him because
I ain't
here's
got
what
to
I'm
do
gonna say.
nothing. That ain't finna
Here's
happen.
what I'm gonna say to you. Here's what I'm gonna say to you. If Michigan was Florida and that was the cock of the walk, Michigan beat Georgia in Jacksonville. This is what I'm saying. If you replace Michigan with Florida in that cock of the walk, if we're talking about SEC supremacy and all that stuff that we talking about, they call it the great cock of the walk, whatever. Pause, all that stuff. At the end of the
World's
day,
greatest cocktail party.
Michigan,
I got
Michigan,
a matrix going on. I'm trying to figure out what
world's
this-
greatest cocktail party. I
Yeah,
apologize.
what is he talking?
World's greatest
You
cocktail
got
party.
that restaurant on your mind?
all that.
What is?
Michigan's going to line up with 8 or 9 people on the front, and they're going to say, stop it. Just stop it. If you can stop it, stop it. Stop the run.
Did y'all see what Alabama just did to Georgia?
But I'm just telling you what Michigan can do to Georgia because they're physical.
Man, that's tough. Listen, T. George, I'm just speaking. I'm just being devil's advocate. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not
They're
saying you're
physical.
wrong.
They're physical.
They walked into Saturday's game as the #1 defense in America.
Who they play?
They got guys that are going to be playing in the NFL, like not one guy, like 7 guys.
Who
So
they
I
play?
don't want this to become a like Georgia trash argument. Now they're not trash.
Who they play?
The SEC.
Okay. Here we go. You ready? We're gonna run it down. If you're ready to do this, we're gonna run it down. You ready?
I hope you're gonna run down Michigan and play.
The
you just
words
told her
I
Iowa
heard
did.
was Georgia. That's what I heard.
Okay,
We
but
can
you gotta compare them
Yeah,
against.
you got to
Michigan.
compare.
I got time. You ready? Here we go. South Carolina, Vanderbilt, Auburn, Arkansas, Kentucky. Blasted all them teams by 2 touchdowns or better.
Kentucky was a ranked team.
Kentucky
Was.
Okay, now let's stop it. Now they were
Was.
ranked, but let's stop it. We are talking about Kentucky.
Thank you, Joe. Arkansas, they blanked.
Watch when I run this
Vanderbilt.
Yeah,
they
I'm about to say,
blanked.
go ahead and pull up that Michigan schedule.
Okay,
like
hold
that.
on. Wait, hold on.
Go ahead.
Here we go. Missouri, Florida, Tennessee. Well, I ain't gonna mention Charleston Southern. Georgia Tech.
You finished or you done?
Would you like for me to give you Michigan? Because you the one over there.
I got
researching your phone.
Michigan.
What is talk then? I ain't got time.
Sound like both of y'all got Michigan.
I got
so go ahead.
time. I got time.
Western Michigan,
I got time.
Washington,
Yeah,
Northern Illinois,
yeah,
Rutgers.
yeah.
Name it somebody yet that got
Keep
a
going.
No.
Keep
I got a
going.
point.
Wisconsin, Nebraska. This ain't in Nebraska by youth either. Don't go there.
Keep
Do not
going.
Go there.
Keep going.
Don't trust me. I will. Northwestern. The best thing they produce is Mike Wilbon. They lost to Michigan State.
Keep going.
Indiana basketball school. Penn State. This is not the Joe Paterno and they screwing with the little boys.
going.
Penn State. This is not that Penn State.
T, what game you waiting
Maryland.
on?
This Juan Dixon in there. That's a basketball school.
I
This
just
man
wanted to
7
keep
games
going.
deep.
I just wanted to keep going.
The only team is Ohio State.
Now stop right there.
That's
Whoa.
it.
Whoa.
Go ahead,
the
Joe.
point. This is my only point.
That's
Joe.
it.
Hold on. Give me Georgia best win.
Thank you.
Go. He just had it.
No,
I
he
didn't
just
hear
had
the
it.
best win.
He just
Go
had
on
it.
over
No,
that. I just
I
gave
know
it
the
to you.
schedule. I'm saying
He was
I
just
didn't hear
on
a-
it.
I'm talking about with that schedule that he gave me. I didn't hear a best win.
They
They
blamed
ain't beat
Arkansas.
nobody as good as Ohio State.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Okay, so that's my only point.
So one game.
That's
so
my
that one
only
game.
argument.
They ain't got to run no guns.
Sounds like
Georgia and
sounds-
Michigan are alike.
Sounds like a regular season they played crappy teams, but Michigan does have the best win from the two.
Thank you, Joe.
Cumulatively, excuse me.
No, you had it right the
Georgia,
first time to me.
Georgia has the better. If you're gonna put everything together, it's Georgia. But still, Alabama whoop all of them. Because we
This
talking the
conversation
SEC,
Michigan-
it's
Michigan
really the
national
SEC
champion.
West.
They're
Let's
not
go,
gonna
what'd you
Juwan
say?
Howard.
They're
Joe,
gonna
what
beat
did you
Georgia.
say?
I think Michigan can beat Georgia.
Joe.
And then Michigan will get the dogs beat off of them.
I
by
didn't say
Alabama.
that. I
That's
said
not
Michigan
what
can
Joseph
beat
Dogs.
Forbes
Georgia.
said.
I
The
said Michigan can
dogs.
beat Georgia.
I said Michigan national champions.
Joe said Michigan as a championship.
I said it. I'll say it on a Monday or
Joey
Tuesday.
still got a
I will say it after
hangover.
church on a Sunday.
He still got a hangover from New Orleans. Don't worry about it. We'll do a
Michigan.
segment later on.
That's all.
Y'all done got my blood
Let's go,
pressure.
Juwan
all
Howard.
I
Let's
know.
go,
That's
Coach
all I know.
Bubba.
This
You
was
better
not even
drink-
supposed to be about this.
You
Let's
better
go,
drink
Jalen
all
Rose.
that black bottle. You better drink all of that
This
black
the
bottle.
last of it right here.
Let's go, Jimmy
And,
King.
and
Oh, what?
y'all are the ones that's up here tripping. America, y'all chime in and let my brothers know why they are absolutely nuts. Put it
Michigan
on something.
just started winning games.
My kids wanted me to tell y'all to make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel, follow me across all social media platforms, like the videos, and share them. Did I forget anything?
And turn on the post notifications.
Y'all heard them. And also, visit Statement Tees, LLC.com and shop with us. That's Statement Tees. Every t-shirt you wear,
Makes a statement.